And just, you know, when you get to the point where you feel like you've repeated yourself 5 bazillion times, or you're having to repeat directions that are super basic, like go stand over there, and they're having a hard time like processing that, it becomes exhausting. Good morning, you guys. It's Monday, the Monday after spring break, and it truly is amazing what getting rest, adequate amounts of rest on a regular basis can just do for your soul. I just feel rested. I feel prepared to teach. I feel like the world is my oyster right now, and it's all because I am rested. I had a good spring break. I shared a good portion of it on Instagram through Insta stories, so you know I didn't go anywhere or do anything extravagant, which is fine because I had just gotten back from a fun experience in Miami, and I just feel like it was a good mix of like taking care of things that I needed to get done, like executive functioning things such as paperwork for a passport and running to the post office to do things and stuff like that. So I got a lot of that kind of stuff done. I did a very small amount of schoolwork. I had to enter a ton of grades that I just hadn't entered. My intention was to lesson plan fully for the next 2 weeks, but I didn't get that done. But I don't even feel bad about that because I was on spring break and I just needed the break. So that is that. Yesterday was my birthday, as well as my mom's birthday, and some people ask, I do in fact have the exact same birthday as my mom. I was actually born a month early, and so the story is my mom was getting ready to go to dinner for her birthday, and her water broke because I was prepared, being impatient as I can be sometimes. So we just spent the day, we had breakfast, we went shopping, I met up with family members for dinner, and it was a good birthday. I just felt good. I didn't have that feeling of like, oh my God, I'm another year older. It was just a good day. The sun was shining. I felt good about where I was at in life. I was at peace, and I'm content with where I'm at in life, and that was like the best birthday gift ever. So there's that. I might be doing a birthday haul, really just what I bought for myself through like gift cards and things like that. I put a poll on Instagram last night to see if you guys would be interested in that. So depending on what you guys say, I may or may not do that. And I realized in this last vlog that went up yesterday, I guess I didn't officially announce what's happening next year. So it's official. I am going to middle school next year. I found out not last week, but the week leading into spring break, like that Monday before we went into spring break, and I thought I had vlogged about it, but apparently I didn't. But I think what happened is I talked about it on Insta stories and thought that I had somehow vlogged about it at the same time. But yes, I am teaching middle school next year. I am super excited about it. I don't know the grade level yet or the content. I'm feeling pretty comfortable that it's going to be social studies or language arts. I don't know what grade level. I should be finding that out sometime later on in the month. Today it's April 1st, April Fool's Day. So I'm super excited about the change, and I can't wait to share just like that transition with you guys, because it'll just be interesting to see. So with that being said, I'm going to work today, obviously, and this is like the beginning of the end of an era for me. Like I really feel like I'm heading into my last 2-3 weeks of teaching elementary school, because I would be surprised if I go to middle school next year and then decide that I want to come back to elementary school. I think by just nature, I'm just naturally suited for older kids, and I'm just excited about the type of content I could teach and the kinds of conversations we can have. Although I have learned this year that third graders can have some pretty deep conversations if you open up that opportunity to them, but I'm excited about that. So I'm headed to Starbucks to get a free drink because I had enough bonus stars to do that. Today is a minimum day for us, as are all Mondays. We have a volunteer tea after school where we just host like a little get together for parent volunteers at the school, and then I'm supposed to meet with the woman that is going to be my long-term sub starting April the 22nd, just to kind of touch base with her, see what questions she has, make her just feel more comfortable, even though she's subbed in my classroom a lot in the past couple years, so it's not going to be like a foreign land to her, but just we need to meet and kind of get our minds together. So the next few weeks are a little stressful because I just need to start getting things wrapped up for myself and start transitioning into getting ready for next year. So I'm gonna head and get this drink. I might continue this conversation when I get back, so we shall see. I just did a taste test on that one. It is really good. I've been very fortunate these past few trips to Starbucks. They have really taken their time and crafted my drink just right. But yeah, anyway, so my last day of teaching will be April the 19th. I believe the plan is the long-term sub is going to come in on the 18th and 19th to actually see me run the classroom to kind of pick up any last minute tips or tricks that she feels like might be helpful to her. So my big goals for the next few whatever weeks are, I would like to film videos for the picture books that I use so that those are ready. I will probably upload those 1 month at a time starting in August, either the last week of July the last week of July, because I start school in August. So my thought is to release them at the end of the month that goes into the month of books that I will be sharing, if that makes sense. So since I'm going to be packing, my master plan is to film a video as I pack each bin of books up and link in the description box the books that I use on particular days, if it's a fun fact day that I share with my class. So I need to start packing things, which reminds me I didn't bring any boxes to school in which to do that. And try and film some videos that I know I would like to film in relation to school, because I'll be kind of out of it for a few weeks. And speaking of which, my question is, obviously I'm not going to be vlogging during surgery. I'm sure I will check in at some point. I just don't know when, because I don't know how I feel. But do you guys want to hear about my experience having this procedure? So I think some of you don't know, I have fibroids, which is very common. I have several of them, and some of them are quite substantial in size, which is why I'm having this surgery. So much so that, like, right now I'm the equivalent of a woman that is 18 to 20 weeks pregnant, is what the doctor said. So I don't have any major symptoms in terms of like having a heavy period. Sorry for the information. I just always feel like this, like something's in my stomach. So like right now it just feels like boulders are in my stomach. So it's just constant pressure. And I'm just ready to alleviate myself of that discomfort. So I know myomectomies, which is the technical term for this procedure, is common because of the size of my fibroids and the location. I can't have a less invasive route. I have to have a full-blown surgery. So I will be in the hospital for 2 days, and recovery time is 6 to 8 weeks. So if you're interested in me just kind of sharing my experience, because maybe this is something that you're thinking about doing, or you're just curious in case it's something you might have to do since fibroids are so common, please let me know by leaving a comment, and then I'll consider it. I can't guarantee that I'll do it, because when I get closer to the surgery, I may change my mind about it. But anywho, I feel like I've done a lot of talking already, and I'm at school now, so I'm going to end the vlog here. But again, if you didn't see my Insta story last night, if you were someone that wished me a happy birthday with a direct message or a comment on a post or through a YouTube comment, thank you so much. You really did help me have just an amazing birthday. It just felt good. I felt very loved and supported, and that was great. And I actually hit 10,000 subscribers on my channel on my birthday, which was another great birthday present. So I appreciate it. I would like to do a giveaway soon. It's just going to be a random video with a random comment. So when I get that all figured out, because I've never done that before, I will be sure to announce that. So I'm getting ready to head into my Monday. Wish me luck, and I will talk to you guys a little bit later. There is a giant grasshopper in my class right now, and the custodian is trying to get him out. It was just chilling on the ceiling, and I'm just impressed that I stayed calm when my kids pointed it out to me, but I'm scared to go in there.
It's very strong. It keeps getting off of my
the
tugs. On my.
Your little clampers.
Easy reachers, yeah. Now I know.
Well, I'll leave the kids outside for a few extra minutes.
Good thing.
Okay, he got the grasshopper. I was just told by 2 students that he told me that he couldn't get it, so I was gonna have to go back in class with that giant grasshopper. But as I was walking back to check, he was able to get it. His issue was he's being so nice, he didn't want to kill it, and so it was hard. Apparently it was like a grasshopper with super grasshopper strength. So he got it. I'm gonna go get my kids from recess, and then we're gonna continue with our day. Okay, it is now just about 5 o'clock. I'm talking to you with my sunglasses on because I was going to walk out the door, but I forgot that there was something I wanted to share with you before I left, and I can't see without my sunglasses on. So I don't think that I'm a diva. I'm just trying to see right now. But long story short, the day went well. We are still getting ourselves caught up with some of the work that we missed. The custodian has successfully apprehended the large grasshopper that was in my classroom, and I met with my long-term sub after school, which was great. We have an idea of how we want to map things out for the rest of the year. And then I just finished filming a monthly favorites of picture books because I'm going to be sharing those with you guys. Speaking of which, I wanted to share this book with you guys. I cannot stress enough how I think you should own this book regardless of what grade level you teach. So I bought this book only for the simple fact that I knew it was about a family where the grandfather, I believe the grandfather is Vietnamese if I'm not mistaken, and I wanted some more books that had Asian characters in it, and I knew the premise was that the little boy in this story and the grandpa don't speak the same language. The grandpa doesn't speak English and the little boy does not speak Vietnamese. I'm pretty sure that that's the country that the grandpa's from, and I can't put it down to tell you. So if I'm wrong, my apologies. And I know that I have kids that can relate to that, and I wanted to have that conversation of like, you know, it's tough when you have someone that you really love, but you don't necessarily speak the same language. This book provides some comfort in knowing that there's other ways for you to communicate. So there's that. But the other thing that I was super impressed by, because at first I was a little nervous because I had never read the book before, was this book is primarily illustration. So there's not a whole lot of text in it, and that is what I like about it. So what I did, just very haphazardly, but it worked out really well, is when I opened the book and saw that there was no text here, but saw the pictures really quickly, I decided to use that as an opportunity to teach kids that there's a lot of understanding that you can gain just by looking at illustrations. So I walked around with the book and I showed the kids these pictures, and I said, I just want you to look at the illustrations, and I want you to tell me, how do you think the little boy in this picture is feeling? So they were able to identify that he was sad. He didn't look like he wanted to be there, and we talked about why do you think that is. So the kid said, I think it's because maybe he believes it's going to be boring at his grandpa's house. And we also talked about the fact that they did a good job using context clues and assuming that the older character is the grandpa just based on like the body language and the fact that they're waving goodbye to someone. And then the other nice thing about it is I was able to ask them, what is happening here? One kid thought that they were praying, and then someone said, no, they're not praying, they're bowing to each other. So we were very quickly able to discuss, okay, this is a culture where you greet each other by bowing. So that was great. And then I said, oh, let's keep going with this. We turn the page here. I just simply again asked them, what do you notice here? Oh, actually, let me back up. So then I asked them, why do you think the little boy might be sad? So they said, maybe I did just say that. I'm sorry, you guys. They said, well, maybe they think it's going to be boring at their grandpa's house, that there's not going to be much to do. And we moved on from that. And I turned the page, showed them these 2 pictures, and said, what do you notice here? They said, oh, this is a bowl of ramen. This is a hot dog and French fries. Then we looked over here, and I made sure that they understood this is what the grandpa's eating. This is what the little boy's eating. So they said, oh, maybe he's not happy because he's not getting to eat the food that he wants. But then we progressively went down, and I said, now what do you notice here? So they immediately noticed that the boy is speaking English and that the grandpa is speaking a different language. And that here, I said, what's going on here? They said, well, they're trying to talk, but they can't really understand each other. So we just did this throughout the whole book, and this just lends itself to really looking at illustrations and using those context clues to imagine how a character is feeling to help them understand what is going on in the story. And I even mentioned to them that I really like that they never tell you what the grandpa is saying, because they leave it up to you to interpret what do you think the grandma's saying or grandpa's saying, or what do you think he's thinking based on these illustrations, based on their faces. And so eventually the little boy pulls out a sketch pad to entertain himself. Then over here you see the grandpa's looking over his shoulder, so we talked about what do you think the grandpa's doing there. Then they realize, oh, here the grandpa has some kind of idea. We get here, grandpa leaves and comes back with a book, and then one of my students said, oh, he comes back with his sketchbook. And I said, how do you know it's a sketchbook? And they said, well, or she said, I looked at the next page and it said sketch. And so the premise is they both realize they like to draw. And it says, right when I gave up on talking, my grandfather surprised me by revealing a world beyond words. And we see each other for the first time. Then there, not only are you able to talk about context clues with pictures, I feel so silly talking to you guys with my sunglasses on, I'm sorry. Not only can you use the pictures to talk about the use of context clues and how that can really help you to understand characters' feelings, emotions, and what's going on, but having just this really good conversation about what does that mean when it says we see each other for the first time. I said, because we obviously know that doesn't mean that they had never seen each other before, that this is the very first time that they're physically seeing each other. So I said, what is the emotion or the thought that the author is trying to express by using those words? And after talking about it a little bit, they were saying things like, well, they've now realized that they have something in common, and they can talk about that, or they can connect about the fact that they like to draw and that they have a connection that way. That all came out of my third graders' mouths. I did not have to feed that to them. They just kind of progressively got to that point. So just in the interest of time, that's all I'm going to share with about the book, but that's pretty much the premise of why I wanted to share it with you, is that there's very little writing in it, mostly illustrations, but there's a ton of stuff that you can get your kids to process and think about just by using it. And I would use this, I will be using this at the middle school level just for that reason, because even if we don't use the illustrations, just that one line alone of like, we see each other for the first time, we could talk about that and what does that mean, and how do the pictures help support the idea that prior to that, these two people that are in the same family didn't, or at least the little boy didn't really feel like he had a connection with his grandpa. And just talking about the fact that family dynamics can be that way, and what is it like when you're a family member with someone and you can't communicate with them because there's a language barrier. So that's what I wanted to share. I'm gonna leave because I'm in the cleaning lady's way. Let me grab my camera case. I'm getting ready to head home, and then I'm meeting Liza and my friend Stephanie for dinner to celebrate my birthday yesterday. So I will probably talk to you guys tomorrow. So I will see you then. Talk to you tomorrow. Okay, I'm getting ready to go home. I am so tired. I've been tired since this morning. I randomly woke up at 3:15 this morning and I couldn't go back to sleep. What woke me up is I had this nightmare. Well, nightmare is kind of dramatic. I had this dream where I missed my Orange Theory class, and like Liza was texting me and saying, you missed class, you were charged $12, and that literally woke me up out of my sleep. The thought of losing $12 shook me awoke. And when I woke up, it was 3:15, and because it was so close to the time that I normally wake up when I go to Orange Theory, which is 4:15, I was so anxious about falling back asleep that I just couldn't fall back asleep. So I've essentially been awake since 3:15. Which meant I did go get some Starbucks, and even that didn't help. So I'm heading out. It's just a little bit after 4, which is pretty good for me, but I need to go home and get some work done. I kind of need to start planning for my, not student teacher, for my long-term sub. I was gonna do that yesterday, but I went out with Liza and my friend Stephanie, and I got home late, so I didn't get that done. And I just need to be diligent about like breaking the amount of work I need to do over the next few weeks into small chunks, so that when I'm leaving on the 19th, I'm not feeling overwhelmed or underprepared. So I'm gonna go home, plan. I need to make a Target run as well. So I need to take care of that. I also need to go to Macy's to get some makeup because I'm completely out of concealer. And for my birthday, I thought I bought some concealer, And I did, but the person gave me the wrong stuff. So now I gotta go get the right stuff. I just finished filming the favorites video for the month of October, no, not October, September. So here are the books that I have in my September bin, which is right here. So I just finished filming that, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself. So far, I have filmed 2 of those videos, so I'm on track. But today, as far as my teaching is concerned, we just continued with the lapsed time. The focus of today was just now taking those skills and applying them to word problems. So we got that done. I think we're just about caught up on things like I-ready testing and tests that kids were missing. We did a little bit of wonders. They did the vocabulary posters where I give them, I think I mentioned this before. So before I start the shared read with them, which is the shorter read, I give every group one of these cards. They're just responsible for illustrating the word on, let me see if I can find you a good example here. One of my favorites. Make sure there's no name on, well, there's a name, but I'll cover it. So for example, here's one of them. Their word was success. So they give me the definition, some synonyms, an illustration, and a sentence. I give them 20 minutes to get that all done. Then they come up, they present it, they use my little classroom microphone, which is right here. This came equipped with the classroom. That's one of the perks of being at a newer school, and they just get excited about it. Everyone's required to speak, so every group member has to say something or contribute to the conversation. And then once they finish presenting, then I'll ask something to the rest of the class, like, what's a non-example of that word, or what's an antonym, or what's an example of that word? And then I give everyone a listening grade for listening to their classmates and a speaking grade for the portion where they actually are presenting to the class. So we did that. The only thing about it is, for whatever reason, the kid, that is like the funnest thing for them to do, making the posters, presenting, and they're so excited about it that it is so unbelievably loud in here while they're working on it. And I get that there needs to be some talking and all of that, but it's like excessive. So I now have an aide that is like a one-on-one support for a student that I have, and even she noticed like it was just loud. So I told them, it's great that you love it, but we got to find a way not to be so loud and wild about it. So we got that done. I was going to try and do a science lesson, didn't get to that. But I will share also this book. I read this. This was my read aloud today. I got this at the book fair around this time last year. It was one of those books that I didn't read, but I could tell just by the cover and the title that it was going to introduce some information about a different culture. So this talked about the Muslim culture and the significance of what the women are wearing, and the little girl on the cover desperately wants to wear, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, I think it's called a malafa. If I'm not saying that right, please let me know. So in the whole story, she's going to all her different relatives and saying, I really wish I could wear one. I want to be beautiful like you. I want to be a queen like you. And then ultimately she says, you know, she wants to wear one and pray like her mom does. And it's not until that moment does the mom give her one, because the mom wants her to understand that yes, these are beautiful things that we wear, and you know, we feel beautiful in them, but it also has like significance to us, like it's a reflection of our faith. So I liked that. And the other nice thing about this book is at the very end of the story, and my kids noticed this because I didn't even realize it was there. There's an author's note where you get a little bit of information about the culture and the religion, and I always like sharing that with the class because I learned something and they learned something from it. So we did that, and that pretty much sums up the day. Math, some wonders, some vocabulary, and that's it. Didn't get to science, but we'll do that tomorrow. So I gotta go home because I'm super, super sleepy. And I will be sure to check in with you guys tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Hello guys, it's Thursday. It's 12:05, I'm at lunch. I'm actually not eating lunch because my mom stopped by with a nice giant chocolate chip muffin from Mimi's Cafe, which is a restaurant out here. I don't know if they're in other states. And I ate the whole muffin. So I don't feel like I deserve to have a full-blown lunch. So I just ate some yogurt. As far as yesterday, I didn't vlog much because I just didn't get it done. Sorry about that, but there wasn't anything life-altering that needed to be captured on film, so I didn't do that. Today, so far, we have done some grammar. Our math lesson today is a bit of a challenge, or it got better, but it was a bit of a challenge. They took their math quiz yesterday in chapter 10 of Go Math, which the first half is just dealing with time, telling time, time intervals, elapsed time, things like that. And then after the quiz, it transitions to measurements. So today we were measuring things to the nearest 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 inch, I believe it is. And just getting them to understand how to read and use this ruler and identify those marks is challenging. Management tip, these are rulers that came with our math series. As soon as I get stuff like this, I will always label and number these things. I don't really know what happens when I no longer use these things. Like next year, I won't be using these and they will have labels on it that say Robinson. But even still, if the next teacher uses these, even though it has my name on it, the fact that it's numbered is very helpful. So I gave these to the kids for the lesson. We ended up doing that lesson mostly whole group because it got to the point where I realized we need to really practice just reading the ruler, identifying the 1/4 mark, 1/2 mark, and whole inch, or 3/4 mark and whole inch marks on the ruler. So we did all of it whole group, and then I gave them this ruler and said they're gonna need to take it home because they need to be able to measure things. And I do explain that they are numbered. I expect them back tomorrow, and if I don't get their ruler back tomorrow, that counts as a part of their homework missing, which means they missed recess. When I taught 5th grade and I did things like this, we were doing money at the time near the end of the year, and I would charge them classroom money. But by the end of the lesson, I felt much better about it. We ended up measuring things using these. I had them come up and measure under the Elmo. As a group, we decided, you know, what is the measurement? It was crayons, I believe it was. What are the measurements of the crayons as we measured them? She's going to the nurse. Let's move this over a little bit so they can see. Line it up again.
Wait, a little older?
Yeah, you're gonna have to move the crayon. Okay. You're discussing with your group. You have 30 seconds to decide what would that crayon measure to the nearest 1/2 inch. 30 seconds, go.
Do I go back now?
No, stay there. What do you think?
It looks like it's so right now it's lined up here, so it's closer to 3.5.
I would go either way. It's like almost exactly between 3 and 3.5.
And also the last crayon, it was like right here, or like right here, so we could say 3.5 or 4 inches.
Hey, voices. Hold on, somebody.
Me and my table group came to a conclusion that it was 3.5.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, mark an X on your line plot for 3.5. Thank you. Go ahead and take your crayon back. Spin the spinner to the nearest 1/2 inch, because that's what the book was asking for at that time. And by the end of that, I felt much better. So that's good news. That's really all that I did. We did grammar, math. I did show them the empty pot with Storyline online. They got the lesson right away. I told them a couple years ago when I read that book to my class. It actually wasn't to the class. I was working with the guided reading group. That guided reading group had totally missed what had happened in the story. And if you don't understand what happens in the story, then you don't know the lesson of the story. But the 3rd graders realized that in this story, the empty pot was empty because it was supposed to be empty, and the emperor did that to find out who was honest and who would be the best successor. If you're not familiar with the story, I will try and remember to link it in the description box so that you can see what I'm talking about. But we read that, and that's about it. When they get back from lunch, we're going to read the first half of the longer read from Wonders. So that is the story that is in the literature anthology. We are going to be reading about whooping cranes. Our comprehension skill is author's point of view, which they struggled with on the last assessment. And the vocabulary skill is the suffixes full and less. And then we have to finish up a science lesson from yesterday from Mystery Science, which the kids really seem to enjoy. Right now, I'm just in my classroom trying to stay awake. I have been exceptionally tired the past 2 days. I don't know why. Well, a couple days I wasn't getting my full 7 hours of sleep, but last night and the night before I got 7 hours of sleep and I'm still sleepy. And I don't have time to be sleepy because just trying to prepare for a long-term sub and wrap up my school year and make sure I have all my ducks in a row requires me to be awake and not be lazy. So it's been a struggle. So right now I'm watching a YouTube video on the channel Fly with Stella, I think it is. I watch that channel sporadically, and I am in the process of getting ready to bag up these, let's see, let me flip this down, these testing, here they are. I'm in the process of getting ready to bag up these testing treats. So I have an aide now because I have 27 students, so I get like a prep aide for 3 hours out of the week. Today was her first day with me, so I'm getting these ready for my long-term sub. So these I got off of Teachers. I think I got these off of Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm not sure. But these are just going to be testing treats. There will be candy added to the bottom. So I'm going to bag these up. The candy's being ordered by the office. And then once the candy comes, I am going to have that aide then attach the candy to these cards. So my goal is when the long-term sub starts that everything is pretty much set up, especially in regards to testing activities and treats. So I'm gonna bag these up and then just continue to watch this video, try and stay awake, and just focus on getting through the rest of the day awake. So that's where I'm at. I will talk to you guys later on. Hi guys, it is 4:12. Let me give you guys a little bit more light. I am exhausted. I have not looked at the footage that I recorded earlier, and just in case, I'm gonna apologize because when I turned the camera off, I had the distinct feeling that I rambled on and nothing that I said made any sense, nor was it strung together in any sort of logical way for someone to understand. So I don't know. I just know that I'm tired. After I checked in at lunch, my afternoon was a little rough, if I were going to be honest. My class, in case I've never said this or you need to be reminded, I have 8 girls and about 17 boys, and that's a challenge. So this afternoon, like, they just were having a hard time following directions, like just basic procedural directions, listening to directions, following them as we went throughout this mystery science activity where they were basically like discovering the differences of, or the different types of effects that the human body takes on living or spending a significant amount of time in space. So there were like simulation activities so they could kind of see what happens to a person's balance if they spend a significant amount of time in space, their strength, and their height. And just, you know, when you get to the point where you feel like you've repeated yourself 5 bazillion times, or you're having to repeat directions that are super basic, like go stand over there, and they're having a hard time like processing that, it becomes exhausting. So, and I don't have time to be tired. Like I said, I know I said that. So that was rough. My long-term long-term sub also popped in after lunch to kind of give me some things because I have a copy aid and I wanted to make sure I can get that started for her. So that happened, and now I'm in the car, still not sure what I'm trying to say, but I know that I'm about to go to Panera and get a free iced coffee for my birthday. It's my birthday treat. I got a free coffee and I'm going to get it because I need to keep my eyes open, and it's effort right now for me to just keep my eyes open, to keep awake, and to walk from point A to point B. So I was going to actually vlog a little bit to show you some things in the classroom that we did, but my camera died because I have this bad habit of turning the camera on to vlog, and then I think I turn it off, but it's actually just like in sleep mode and the battery depletes. So long story short, like I said, after lunch we got through the science lesson, although it was a bumpy ride.
Measure me again. Sure.
And that was pretty much it. That took us some time. I met with my long-term sub. She popped in for a second, and we got some things squared away for that. Tomorrow it's going to be kind of like my official kickoff for game day, in the sense that we're going to start talking about strategies that we're going to be putting into our playbook. There's 6 of them, I think, like getting a healthy or eating a healthy breakfast, getting a good night's rest. So we're going to start doing those on a daily basis. We're going to start hitting home the concept of growth mindset a little bit harder, and just really getting ourselves ready, because we really only have 10 school days left before they actually start testing. And I am just starting to realize it is April 4th, and my last day of teaching is April 19th. So we're really down to the wire, which is one of the reasons why I'm stressed about feeling tired, because I just, like I said, have a lot of things to do. Because me leaving on the 19th, in some ways, is like the wrapping up of my school year. I am going to have to come back, obviously, to pack up my classroom and all of that. But like, there's just like some logistical things I need to make sure I have set up for the sub so that she feels equipped and prepared. So as far as my classroom, I reached out to the teacher that I found out is going to be coming into my classroom next year and asked her if she would like me to keep up the paper for her. Made it clear that I'm taking down the border and the wall hangings, but that the paper could remain, and, you know, to see if she would be interested in that, because it could be a time saver. And she said yes. So that's one less thing that I have to do. I don't have to take down the paper, but I will be taking down the border and taking that with me. So that helps a little bit. And I have an aide in my classroom that's helping out with the student. And when he is occupied adequately, she has packed up some drawers for me. So that's also helping. So I don't know. I'm just tired of being tired, guys. So I'm getting ready to pick up this coffee from Panera. Again, I apologize if everything that I'm saying today makes no sense, or it just sounds like me having a stream of consciousness and I'm just talking my thoughts out loud. My apologies. But I hope I'm not the only one that is feeling as tired as I'm feeling. But luckily tomorrow is Friday. I'll get a weekend. But it's amazing how a little rest will do you, like I said at the beginning of the week. But it's also amazing how quickly you can become tired again because you're just working. So, but we can make it. I'll make it. But I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. So it is 9:30. The kids just got dropped off for PE and I am in my classroom on my prep period. Let me put you guys down so I can multitask. Okay, there we go. So today is Friday. I'm learning how to use this new tripod that I have. And yesterday, that coffee that I got from Panera was very helpful. I got a very large cup of it and I was actually drinking the leftovers of it this morning as I made my Starbucks run to get my breakfast sandwich. So I went home, I was able to cook, I got a little bit of work done before I went to bed. And I've been meaning to say, I feel like I need to be better about being realistic about what I'm going to be able to accomplish when I get home from school or work and what is realistic for me to even expect of myself. I think I have this bad habit of like working a full-time job during the day in the classroom and then going home and thinking I'm gonna work a whole nother round of a full-time evening, and that's just not healthy. That's what's making me tired. I've been really frustrated because I used to be really good about being able to read every night before I went to bed, and I have not been able to be consistent with that in a very long time, probably a good year, if not more. And I think the difference between now and then is that I would just, well, there is a part of it where I'm more busy now than I was then because I wasn't as active on YouTube. I don't even know if I had my YouTube channel. I wasn't as active on social media for sure. And I wasn't as involved in as many different like committees that involve meetings. So that is some of it. But the other part of it is that I would just like shut it down at a certain time of day. Like I would say I'm gonna work and get as much as I can done until this point, and then when that time comes I will stop. Whereas lately I have not been able, or I have not been choosing to do that. It's not that I've not been able, I've just not been choosing to do that. So mentally I need to get better about that. So that did help. So anyway, here we are Friday. I made it, I'm awake. I don't feel nowhere near as tired as I did yesterday, which is good. Today in class, I am going to be kind of kicking off the whole growth mindset thing in preparation for state testing. Last year, I typically focused on these conversations on Fridays just because it seemed to lend itself to that. So I'm gonna keep doing that this year. And so, as I adjust this new tripod, hi guys, let me get it together here. And so what I just did is first I looked at the math lesson for the day, which is measuring volume. And in Go Math, it's one of those lessons where I'm like, okay, in theory, this would be a great little thing to do, but I don't have time to bring in a pot and a dog food container and all these things. What I really need the kids to understand is the concept of volume and approximations of volume and how is volume measured. So I just showed them a brain pop video before they went to PE that did a very good job of explaining what volume is, what liquid volume is measured in. So that was a good introduction. And then when we come back, what I'm probably going to do, I'll show you the lesson and what I'm going to actually choose to do with it. So the lesson actually wants you to pull out measuring cups, different containers such as a pot, a dog food container, a vase, a fish bowl, which would be great if I had those things, but I don't. And then there's some other examples where they're comparing it. So from just me skimming this lesson, and based on what I remember from last year and looking at the things they're gonna be asking them, they just wanna make sure the kids have an idea of what would be about a liter, what would be less than a liter, and what would be more than a liter. So more than likely, whoa there, I'll tell you about that in a second. More than likely for today's math lesson, what I'm going to do is we'll do those problems together and just really focus on making sure they understand how to recognize when something is gonna hold about a liter, less than a liter, or more than a liter. And then we're just gonna call it a day for this math lesson, especially because Fridays are always very busy for me with PE and library happening all in the same day. So I wanted to show that to you. And then the other thing I was doing was I was getting ready, or I was pulling the book that I'm going to read with my class today in the name of getting ready for game day is what we're calling it, or state testing. And so today, after we get back from the library, I'm going to show them this video on growth mindset. I can't remember if I showed this to them at the beginning of the school year or not, but if I did, they're gonna see it again. And just to let you guys know, I can link these in the description box, but I have a playlist of testing videos that I have that I used last year that I thought displayed growth mindset or lent themselves to having a discussion about it. And so I made a little playlist so that every year I can just kind of click on the playlist and all the videos are right there at my fingertips. So this is one of those videos. So I'm going to show them this video. And for the read aloud today, we are going to be reading What Do You Do with a Chance? I just recently bought this one because I have the other one, which is What Do You Do with the Problem? There we go. The struggle is real with this new tripod. I like it. I just got to get into a groove with it. So I'm gonna read this to them today. My goal is to try to read a book that somehow ties into growth mindset at least a few times a week between now and the start of the test. And so the premise of, or how I'm gonna use this book is just explaining to them that this test is really just a chance at the end of the day. It's a chance for them to show what they have learned, what they have accomplished. It's a chance for them to show maybe these are some areas that you're gonna need a little extra work with next year or help with next year, and just frame it that way, that it's an opportunity. It's a chance to show all the things that you've learned, and that when you have a chance, you don't want to be frightened by that chance. You want to take that chance on with confidence, and that's that is what's happening to the character in the story. So we're going to read that. And then we're also going to start our playbook items. So this is a part of that Teachers Pay Teachers product that I referenced not too long ago. You just run this on construction paper, you fold it in half, you create this little playbook, and it has some pages on the inside. So my aide prepped this for me, and I just do one item at a time, and I don't go in any particular order. So the first one I just picked up was this sign here, and again, this is all included in the product. So the first game day or playbook item is eating a healthy breakfast on game day. So I would hang this up. I would say this is playbook item number 1, and then I also have smaller copies of each poster. So I would give them this, and what they're going to do is they are going to glue that in this box, and then we're going to brainstorm some reasons why it's important to have a healthy breakfast and come up with some ideas of what they could do to have a healthy breakfast, and write it in this. So we will do one a day, and then that Friday before testing starts, I will tell them to go home with these, share it with their parents, and just come in that Monday just ready to take that chance or make the best of their chance and start showing what they know in terms of their learning. So those are my big to-dos on my to-do list today. A hair appointment at 4:30. I don't know. I guess I can do that. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Aside from that, I have filmed some picture book videos, but I have a feeling I'm gonna refilm them because I'm just not thrilled with how they are going so far. So I kind of want to take care of that. I might even start working on that during my lunch. But you know, that I could just be talking right now. So anyway, I have about 40 minutes left of my prep, so I'm going to get back to work. I need to finish grading my quizzes and get a couple of things out of my car. I might also look for some videos on YouTube that are meant for kids to explain why it's important to have a healthy breakfast, and maybe show that. And that's it. So I will talk to you guys a little bit later on. Hey guys, it is now Saturday. I am at home. I did not get to close the vlog yesterday because I think I vlogged during my prep period, and then I was going to check in with you after school to show you how the spring training kickoff with the playbook and all that started or went. And I went to pick up my camera to not only film that or vlog that, but also to film a little bit for this series on picture books that I'm trying to organize, only to find that my camera had died. So that couldn't happen. And then after school, I had a hair appointment at 4:30, and at about 4:10, I realized I did not know where my car keys were, and spent a good 20 to 25 minutes looking for them. I was about a half hour late to my hair appointment. I just got a refresh, like a wash and a flat iron. And didn't get home from all of that until about 8:30. So by the time I got home, I was not in the mood to do anything but eat dinner, sit on the couch, for a minute and watch some trashy TV and go to bed, and that's exactly what I did. So it is now Saturday at about noon. The cleaning lady came this morning, so the house is freshly clean. There's a little snap of it. There's Riley. Genesis is right there, so she can get some camera time too. Jenny, say hello. Yeah, so she's on the lookout, watching the neighborhood, making sure that we're all safe and sound. I'm getting ready to go to Target because there's quite a few things that I need. I'm probably gonna pick up some lunch from Panera because they have this new sandwich that I wanna try. And then I need to be productive. There's like some personal stuff I need to take care of, some emails. I need to do a little bit of lesson planning, some more for the long-term sub. And that's it. I just talked to Liza. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I purchased a Louis Vuitton item, and I have not even opened the box yet because it's like, I really feel like I need to do that when I have time to take it all in and like appreciate the handbag that I bought. But I was talking to her because I put that on Instagram. I showed you guys the box on Instagram, and several of you DM'd me and said you wanted to see what I got, and then I responded and said I'm thinking about doing an unboxing on YouTube. And I was just talking to Liza because I had some second thoughts, because I've seen some unboxings on YouTube and there's something about them that has been off-putting to me, even though I know that the way that I unbox it would come from a different premise. Like, mine is more of a, like, you know, this was a big deal for me, this was my first purchase, and just kind of from like a single person's perspective. So if you are interested in seeing an unboxing, please leave a comment in the description box. I always say the description box. Please leave a comment in the comment section and let me know. I just want to make sure that I'm not putting something out there that's not my intention. My intention is not to get on there and be pretentious and talk about this Louis Vuitton handbag, because hopefully by now those of you that have been watching me for a while know that that's not the person that I am. I definitely like nice things and to look nice, but they don't like rule my life. I will go and get a bag from Target and an outfit from Target in a hot second, and have no problem with it. So let me know if that's something you would be interested in. I also wanted to share with you what I got for my birthday, but at this point this vlog is a little too long for that. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. So if I'm feeling energetic and this vlog is not too long, maybe when I come back later, I can show you guys some things, or the things that I got for my birthday, or maybe you'll just see it through Instagram. I don't know what's gonna happen. So anyway, I need to get going. If you like this vlog, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you do. If you are a newer subscriber, I know I got a handful of you over the past week or so. Thank you for helping me make it to 10,000. Welcome to my channel. I hope that you enjoy it, and all of that good stuff. So I hope you guys have a great, or you've had a great weekend, and I will see you guys in the next vlog. Until then, peace out.